So the first time I did that talk, actually he just put, "I am awesome." And that was what I had to do the talk as the title of. So I was like, okay, let's see how we can work with this. And last time I really focused on the mentality of the just do it mentality. You know the video of Shia LaBeouf where he just goes, just do it? I actually jumped on stage and just went, just do it, like this. So this time, after a year, a lot has changed for me personally within a year. So I was like, okay, well, everyone is actually awesome, but people don't realize this yet, so it's about unlocking it, and then part 2. And so this actually stemmed from, I was asked to come back to do a Brain Candy, and it was actually fairly recently, I had the thought of, for the first time ever, I don't want to trade my life for anybody else's. And I was like, shit, that makes me awesome to myself. So what I want to talk about a little bit is how I managed to get to that, and maybe how you can help just make yourself awesome in that sense that you don't need to be awesome to anyone else, you only need to be awesome to yourself. And it's as simple as that. So you're probably thinking, who am I? I really like spoons. Now, I've always had this unhealthy obsession. Now, these are really nice because they're wooden, and you can see there's lots of shapes and stuff, and it's really cool. I started my life back in England at this shithole, which was O'Toole Community College. I then went to this college and got really, really bad grades, and then thought, let's go to Eindhoven and let's go to Fontys, where I dropped out after 3 years, which was exactly 1 year ago. So that was kind of how I got there. And when I really started at Fontys, I moved to the Netherlands because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know who I wanted to be. I played a lot of computer games. I smoked a lot of weed. I did all of the bad things. And so I was like, okay, well, let's do engineering. Engineering, what? Why? At this stage of my life, I was like, well, engineering is kind of cool. It's the future. Let's see where this goes. No one really knows. And this is me now. I completely quit my studies, and now I work for a private jet company in Amsterdam, which I helped co-found 9 months ago, and it's been the most insane journey ever. And now was the time when I said, okay, well, this is really cool. This is where I want to be for my life. It's the most stressful thing I've ever done in my entire life. As Knegtel would probably know, startups can be stressful. So I just want to talk quickly through the process of how I got here was, firstly, from a young age, of the age of 13, I always said to myself that I want to lie on my deathbed and die happy, in a sense that I knew I made a positive contribution to the survival of the human race. This was my aim, however abstract it was, but that was what I knew I wanted to achieve. After this, I worked backwards, and I said, okay, well, how can I do this? I was like, okay, well, finance is not for me. That takes a lot of studying. Being a lawyer is not for me. It takes a lot of studying. How else can I do this? Well, to make a change, then I found out about Elon Musk, and I was like, well, he managed to make a change and is making a positive contribution to the survival of the human race. How did he do that? He made money. He did startups. So I was like, okay, maybe this is something I could work with. So that's how I got to that decision from working backwards. Which also, as you grow up and as you get older, which is also about this happiness thing, is you have to reflect on your life. What's made you who you are? And I showed you those pictures at the beginning is because all of those experiences for me were actually bad experiences. Going to school, getting shitty grades, going to Eindhoven just because I wanted to. But actually, by reflecting on this, those made me who I am today. They gave me the skills to be who I am, and it's as simple as that. So then you actually come to appreciate all of the things you've done in the past, no matter how good, no matter how bad they all are. Then there's networking. Now, my top tip for everyone here with networking that's always worked for me is you always need to go to people, talk to them, and don't try to sell them stuff. It just does not work. It doesn't matter whether you're working in an awesome company, whether you work for Microsoft, I don't know what. You just have to be interested in other people. As long as you're interested in other people and you just want to hear them out, you can go and you can conquer anyone. Anyone is interesting for you. My best story of this was here in Eindhoven, where I went to the innovation director of Johnson & Johnson. 4 or 5 people pitched her in a row. I just went to her, I said, I don't give a shit about what you do. I don't go to sell to you. I just want to hear your story or your opinions on entrepreneurship. She now takes me for lunch every 6 months, and she offered me the keys to her house in the center of Amsterdam, and I'm like, what? How does this work? And also these people become my mentors, so I can then go to and say, hey, can I help you? Just because I was interested in them and not necessarily what they do. Changing and adapting. For me, this is a big topic because I'm always like, people say like, oh, you did this wrong, studying, oh, you've done it wrong. When you're like, no, but this was my idea, this makes sense to me. So you have to kind of also stay true to yourself, which I think is actually the next slide. But with everything that's going on in the world, you do have to adapt, but as long as you genuinely do stay true to your core, then things become more acceptable and you can be more comfortable with yourself, because you probably all experience this, and when someone tells you wrong, it sucks. So stay true. The other thing with entrepreneurship is that it can suck, and startups, jobs, all of this stuff. Sometimes you get home, you tell the story about Red Bull, where you kind of stood in the mirror, and that moment probably sucked for you because you realized, well, shit, what am I going to do now? And I think we all get to that point, and everyone says, entrepreneurship, it can suck, all of these things, but it does suck. Life actually does suck. And there is the topic of happiness, and no one is born happy. Everyone goes through these ups and downs, and also bringing up startups again, you get the highest of the highs and you genuinely get the lowest of the lows. Then the other thing about entrepreneurship and also life in general and about happiness is that you just never give up. As long as you keep on going. If you get to such a low point that you can't deal with it anymore, take 2 days in bed. I did this the other week. I got conned out of 800 euros because I was an idiot and I was drunk. And then I was so down, I took 2 days in bed. I didn't speak to anyone. I had my phones off. I spent 40 hours in bed. It was horrible. But, after that, I got out of bed and I said, okay, back into work. So what's up, guys? Let's do this. And if you manage to achieve all of these things and you never give up, one day I can promise all of you that you can look in yourself and you can go, yeah. I'm awesome. So all of you here today, you can all be awesome. And that's it. Thank you very much.